Welcome to another episode of Culture Burns, and may the 4th be with you. Today we're going to be discussing Star Wars. Looks like our prediction came true literally like a day or two after we said it. There's going to be a new Darth Maul TV show. Sadly, though, it's not going to be live action. It's going to be an animated show. I wish they just showed us like a trailer already.
Yeah, they're not going to let us have Sam Witwer's abs. They're not going to show us his abs.
No, they're just going to show us his voice. They don't want Ray Park back again for
Why is that?
some
Why don't they want Ray Park back?
Well, I think it might be to do with a thing that happened a few years ago where he supposedly posted a picture, or sorry, a video of allegedly he posted a video of his wife and another fellow actor in a compromising position because his wife was cheating on him at the time.
I'm posting it.
Yeah, he posted it on Instagram, I guess.
Yeah.
Allegedly, Disney was not happy, but he claims that that was him in the video and that he got hacked or whatever. It's a long story, but that's the short of it.
What?
Oh yeah, it's like a whole thing,
Let's not get into it.
Yeah. Spoiler alerts for I guess this Darth Maul show. It's not really much of a spoiler. It kind of just follows what's going on in the universe, but after the Clone Wars, Maul plots to rebuild his criminal syndicate on a planet untouched by the Empire. During the 20th anniversary Lucasfilm animation panel at Star Wars Celebration Japan, surprise guest Sam Witwer took to the stage to reveal his return to the galaxy as the star of the next animated series, Star Wars, Maul, Battlelord. Witwer first portrayed Maul in Star Wars The Clone Wars, later reprising the role in Star Wars Rebels. In a new series set after the events of the final season of The Clone Wars, Maul rises again to lead the underworld factions. I love Maul in Star Wars Rebels. So what this is basically going to do is, if anybody's seen Star Wars Rebels, he's basically like a straggly, like old man that's going nuts and is like basically homeless. And he's trying to like just his last little bit of life that he's got left. He's trying to, I guess, either finalize his revenge against Kenobi or kill or off himself, I guess. I don't know. It's one of those things. I couldn't really tell you what his true intentions were in the end because he tried to get revenge on Kenobi, but at the same time, like he recognized that the Empire was the downfall of everything, as he rightfully should and did. I mean, look at Clone Wars. Yeah, because remember Clone Wars? He saw like he had a vision of like what Palpatine was doing, and then he went like crazy in like the season finale on like the Siege of Mandalore. He just started wrecking shit. What is it?
I don't remember at all.
Oh, did you saw that one though, right?
Probably. I've seen every episode.
So there was that season of season 7 of Clone Wars. It was the last season where they kind of did everything like years later, and it like led up right to the events of Revenge of the Sith, like to the day. It showed how Maul like was involved in the siege of Mandalore, and how him and Ahsoka fought each other until Maul basically like got beat. What ended up happening is they lock up Maul, and right as they lock up Maul, Order 66 happens. So Ahsoka gets like betrayed by all the clone troopers, and she figures out how to get like Rex's chip out of his head. Her and Rex basically unleash Maul on the whole place to like wreck shit. It's crazy. But like he keeps on babbling about how he's got to kill Anakin because that's going to be the new apprentice of Palpatine, because he had a vision of like his master's plans and shit. And then we get that really sick after credit scene of Vader seeing like Ahsoka's like sight and finding the lightsaber on the ground.
I don't remember a lot of that later stuff.
It's the last season of Clone Wars. It came out like years after like season 6 of Clone Wars. Everyone thought season 6 was the last season, but
No, I remember.
Oh yeah, Bad Batch was in that season too.
I want to say that like that season of Clone Wars came out around the time of one of the Battlefront games coming out, the newer ones.
Maybe.
Let me look at
I'm not sure. Well, the newest one came out in what, 2017? I think that came out in like 2020.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, because if it was earlier, they would have definitely put Ahsoka in the actual like game. I think that's the only reason why they didn't, because they didn't recognize her as popular of a character, or at least Dice didn't.
maybe I was just playing Battlefront 2 at the time.
Yeah, well, I definitely was a lot. Maybe I was just playing Battlefront 2. So, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? Have we gone over this yet?
I have two answers.
What are they?
Truly, overall, I love Return of the Jedi the most. I think it's such a solid ending.
Okay.
You didn't like that answer, did you?
No, no, I love it because it's my same answer. Return of the Jedi is my number one.
Yeah, dude. Return of the Jedi is. You probably talked about this.
Yeah.
I should know that.
But what's your number two?
It's what I would say is the funnest Star Wars. And probably so like the kid in me still has this as their favorite, as their.
Is it Attack of the Clones?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know how I knew that. To me, that just has the most like kiddish and like fun feel about it. And when I used to watch it as a kid, I used to love like the scene, like everything on Genosha was amazing.
Yup.
Yeah, no, I get it. Oh yeah, that was awesome too. That whole the Camino scene, yeah.
Even the fucking the opening scenes with them on Coruscant, the fucking bounty hunter trying to take. I think he was trying to take out Padme.
You know what? I used to like in between Revenge of the Sith and Clone Wars or Attack of the Clones, they had like a mini Clone Wars series. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Are you talking about the original cartoon, Clone Wars cartoon, not non CGI?
Yeah, exactly. It was really good. I used to love like the Kit Fisto one where he would battle like these like things underwater. It was only like 2 or 3 minute segments. And then the Mace Windu one where he like completely obliterates like an army of droids. That was great. But then they had to like go and like make it non-canon. Sad.
Sad.
Yeah. But honestly, I could see why Attack of the Clones was like the one that you gravitate towards the most, and it was like your like one for like you as a kid. For me, it was Revenge of the Sith, to be honest with you. I love that movie.
Revenge of the Sith is probably the second best one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like for me, that's my second favorite.
That I think you're right.
Yeah, that even as a kid, that was like my favorite like movie to watch like all the time.
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones, I watched it a lot leading up to it, and when it came out, I used to love Attack of the Clones and Phantom of the Menace. I used to like watch them all the time when I'd play like Battlefront 1 and shit. But as soon as Revenge of the Sith came out and Battlefront 2 came out, I was just like, this is it. This is Star Wars. I love it. What's your third favorite if you had to name it?
Oh man, let me think.
Mine might be kind of controversial, honestly.
It's got to be a tie with A New Hope and Empire.
That's funny because I would say mine is maybe a tie because I used to think Empire was my third favorite, but now like I really love Rogue One. That might be like a controversial opinion, but I love Rogue One. It's so good. I could rewatch it like so many times.
Rogue One is the best non-Star Wars like Skywalker saga.
Well, non-Skywalker saga Star Wars movie.
It's also better than some of the Skywalker sagas.
Oh, 100%. I would say it's the fourth or fifth best Star Wars movie. You know what I mean? Just in general.
Yeah. Let's just. Do you want to? Dude? Do you want to just make a full list, right? Like, just let's rank all of them. Right?
Do you want to rank the movies or the properties?
Let's do movies and TV shows.
Can we add specials to the list too?
Like what?
Like the Star Wars holiday special?
Do you think that's better than anything?
No, I think that's probably the worst thing that they've done, but that's why I was thinking it would be interesting. Yeah, that'll definitely be the bottom. All right. So number one's definitely Return of the Jedi.
Definitely Return of the Jedi.
I love that movie because of, I mean, I love the Ewoks even and the like the
Yup,
light Vietnam motifs that they
yup.
had going on.
Luke is at his coolest.
Luke is at his coolest. That first like immediate like Jabba the Hutt like scene is amazing, where he basically tells Jabba to go fuck himself. Like that's perfect.
Yeah. And then we get like I love how much of the movie it's just him acting knowing like a Jedi would, like Obi-Wan. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, calm, cool.
Not even just calm, but also like sometimes we're wondering what he's thinking. But like we know that he's certain of something. And we're like, wait,
Hmm.
is he gonna go bad? Like we don't know.
Yeah.
We do know, but like they give us a second. Wait, what? But the whole
You,
time Luke is not wavering. He's just like, I know.
you know what might be the worst part about that movie, which is kind of funny because the rest of the movies, it's like the best part about the movie, but it's
What?
probably the worst part about Return is Han Solo is at his like weakest,
Yeah.
which is funny because I love Han Solo as a character, but he's definitely at his best in the first and second movie. Probably Empire, he's probably at his best. I don't know. But Han Solo in the first movie being a straight up asshole like is great.
Yeah, I mean honestly, I don't mind it because like he's the Han Solo was like the cool badass of the gang.
Yeah.
Obviously, Obi-Wan's a Jedi, but he dies.
Well, you know what's funny? So Luke took over the cool badass of the gang for this movie,
Yeah, Zach, Zach. That's what happened.
and then Han Solo took over like the weak of the ones.
Well, I think that we saw at the end of that movie the end of Han Solo smuggling. Obviously, like in the later movies, they kind of reveal that he went out, kind of ran away from home for a while to do that again. But at the end of Return of the Jedi, Han Solo's no longer an outlaw. He's a hero. He's married to the princess.
Yeah, his arc has been completed. Yeah,
Yeah. Whereas Luke, this is the beginning of his story.
which is kind of funny because we totally got screwed on that. Total cop out.
I have so dude, oh my god. Have you seen how much Sebastian Stan looks like Luke Skywalker?
Yes, I've told you. I think he would play Luke Skywalker perfectly.
I mean the guy's playing Bucky. Like the guy plays fucking Bucky. If it had any sense, they paid him a decent fucking truckload of gold bars to just play an awesome character that is way cooler than Bucky.
Hey, Bucky's pretty cool. Don't get down on Bucky.
He is cool,
I
but
mean, Luke
Luke Skywalker,
Skywalker's awesome, yeah, but Bucky's got a journey.
the whole world would accept it. Like the only thing that comes with Star Wars is the stigma of the coin. It's like the Targaryen coin flip. If like we're gonna love this or hate this movie or this property. But I guess a lot of things are like that nowadays. But Star Wars was like famously known for like everybody fucking hates this one. Oh wait, like oh we kind of like it. Oh, no, we all fucking hate it.
You know why I think they're not gonna do that with Luke Skywalker, or they're not gonna do that now or in the near future?
Right.
Because I think they tried to do that with
The CGI.
well, no, Han Solo, a Star Wars story, and they were trying to test the waters with casting other people as younger versions of these characters,
It's
and what
not
ended up.
about. That's almost different because like that's
No, I'm
casting a
I'm not
character to play
I'm not saying it
someone
is the
before them.
same thing. I'm saying to a lot of the common people, it wasn't, and they saw it as like a bastardization of the character, so they would speak out and say they don't want the character changed. So what that led to is like Disney being like, "Oh, I guess we're just not going to recast people. We're gonna CGI or do this or that instead."
Well, I think it's also kind of like that's a really bad decision to just base that off of one mistake. Like I feel like
Well, that's
no
corporate
studio does that.
America. That's 100%. I agree, but that's corporate America, dude. This is Disney we're talking about. Boardrooms and what do they call those testing rooms?
I don't know that Disney's thrown a lot of crazy stuff at us that we didn't like until they hit us with something good. They keep trying.
With Disney, they really like with not with Disney, with Star Wars specifically, they really want to try and find like what the common denominator wants instead of trying to appeal to the fans specifically, which has actually been the issue I think with Disney on or Star Wars under Disney.
That's still happening.
It's not necessarily not happening, but it's not necessarily happening overtly. But the problem is that the people that make these decisions are still there.
Yeah, because I know that at one point people were saying that the whole Kathleen Kennedy way of doing things was on the out. That like she's on the out. I don't know if she is already. This is something I heard a while.
Yeah, but people have been saying that for years.
I've never heard anything about fucking John Favreau and the other guy, Star Wars guy. I'm just saying I haven't heard that coming up or being like, yeah, actually they're more involved again. I keep hearing that they're pretty much done too.
Which would be sad if that's the truth.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Pedro Pascal's done. You know,
Yeah, the end of an era of Star Wars.
it would be stupid to be done, honestly.
It would be.
How are you gonna just like actually move to Reed Richards when you're like he could be like the new thing. Like that's the vibe I got. That always felt like the right move to me, which is like now that the Skywalker saga is over, let's focus on some Mandalorian storylines. Mandalorians are like this whole other thing that are like, and there's plenty of groups like that in the Star Wars universe, but it's so successful and so beloved right off the bat. So much about it that how would you not just want to like focus on that? You ended the Skywalker saga, and like you're lucky that you got to. Now you have this great new thing. Like just give it a shot. Just start hyper focusing on that. And maybe they are now. But I heard that they're like, no, we're actually still gonna focus on our movies. You guys can just have your we'll give you guys one movie. But you guys are still just TV. They need to just make a whole new saga. Doesn't have to be about Mandalorians. It could have them as the focus instead of the Jedi as the focus, but just have a whole new saga. Have Din Djarin as the fucking Han Solo of the show, or maybe he's like the I don't know, maybe he's like the Obi-Wan by that time.
Mm-hmm. So I just looked up, I guess, a list of upcoming Star Wars movies and TV shows.
Well, yeah, Mandalorian and Grogu, the worst named movie in the world. Crazy if that's the name of it.
You know what's crazy is there's like two other movies, but they're coming out in 2026 and then 2027, but they don't really have a name for it yet.
Yeah, that 2026 one, it's like for sure getting delayed, unless they have some crazy surprise movie this way.
Looks like they have one that's gonna be called Star Wars Starfighter that's coming out in 2027 if we all survive.
A movie?
Yeah. That's a terrible name for a movie too.
I bet somebody was like, "What if we do Top Gun, but it's Star Wars pilots?"
Top Gun, but it's Star Wars pilots. That's exactly what the movie is. Yeah, no, 100%.
Especially after the huge death of Top Gun Maverick or whatever it was called.
Do you know who Simon Kinberg is? He did a lot of like different like movies in the 2010s, especially like X-Men movies and shit.
No.
I think he did X-Men, he did might have had something to do with other J.J. Abrams properties, and I think he might have produced the Fan 4 Stick, but I could be wrong. But he's set to direct. Don't let that sway you because he's actually a pretty good filmmaker. I'll be honest with you. Simon Kinberg's actually pretty good. I think he helped with Days of Futures Past. I think he wrote it, if I'm not mistaken, or produced it. And I think he either directed or wrote and produced X-Men First Class. So he's not that bad. He's pretty good. But he's set to direct a new trilogy that will be considered episodes 10 through 12. There are no details other than that Kinberg will write all three movies and produce them with Lucasfilm boss Kathleen Kennedy. Oh no. You're right.
They're like, just, all right, let's give the reins to this fucking guy.
I like Simon Kinberg personally. Let's go through the movies real quick. Simon Kinberg.
But they already have a guy that they could just give the reins to. Why are they giving it
No,
to this guy?
100%.
This is some like real business bullshit. This is like shit that we see where it's like, oh, they should just don't like this person, so they're not gonna like pick him, even though they didn't like that. They just don't like Jon Favreau and his Star Wars buddy.
All right. So he first thing he ever helped produce was Mr. and Mrs. Smith, then Jumper, X-Men First Class, then Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
I love Jump.
Jumper's pretty good. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, that's pretty good too. Elysium, X-Men Days of Future Past, Let's Be Cops, I like that movie. Chappie, I don't like that movie. Fan Four Stick, The Martian is really good. Deadpool, X-Men Apocalypse, Logan, Murder on the Orient Express, Star Wars Rebels he produced, Deadpool 2, X-Men Dark Phoenix, the Twilight Zone TV series, Death on the Nile, and Deadpool and Wolverine. So a really big mixed bag.
This guy's a producer.
He's mostly a producer, yeah. Yeah.
So you know how it's set to have him writing and directing the whole entire trilogy?
Yeah, I
That
think
would
he
be
could do it.
interesting. That would be kind of crazy. I don't think that's what's gonna be. I think it sounds like he's in charge of this, and he's gonna like maybe
He's
write
gonna
all of it.
Feige it. He's gonna George Lucas it.
Yeah.
That's what I see. I think that's a great idea. That's what it seems like he's good at.
So we're gonna get some good directors involved, and we're gonna get some good writers involved.
Yeah, that would be good.
Even have, even have, we could even have Dave. We can even have John. I almost said Dave Filoni is why I almost said Dave Favreau. Dave
Mhm.
Filoni, he could be writing some of this. John Favreau, he could be directing some of this.
So we do have a new Ray movie, yada yada yada. We all heard about that. But there's a James Mangold movie coming out. We don't know if that's going to happen because of Indiana Jones 5, because he was the director of that, and that didn't go too well. But after that, it says that we have an unknown release date of a Dave Filoni Star Wars movie. And Dave Filoni will helm a live-action Star Wars movie. Will bring together Disney Plus shows into a cinematic event that will take place between. Per a recent report, Ahsoka Season 2 is more likely to arrive before the Filoni movie. Isn't this just Mandalorian and Grogu? But they already mentioned that. So is it a different movie?
Mandalorian Grogu is the movie that's like most developed right now, I think. So it should be the.
There's a Lando movie.
What?
I would love a Lando one.
That's crazy.
Canceled Star Wars movies. Kevin Feige Star Wars movie. All right. And Sean might do a Star Wars movie too.
The Dave and Dan Star Wars movie.
Dave and Dan. Yeah, the guys who did Game of Thrones. All right. So that was a kind of a digression, but let's see. Number 2, Return of the Jedi. I'm sorry, number 2, Revenge of the Sith, right?
Only because I know I'm not going to be able to convince you that Attack of the Clones should be there. Yeah. Revenge of the Sith.
You definitely are not going to be able to convince me that Attack of the Clones should be there. You will be able to convince me Attack of the Clones will be before Phantom of the Menace, definitely, though.
Dude, Attack of the Clones, I think.
All right, hold on. All right.
That,
Wait, we'll get into Attack of the Clones and you're passionate about it when we get there, all right? But Revenge of the Sith, amazing movie. Order 66 is one of my favorite moments in any Star Wars film, any film of all time. Order 66, I love it. Execute Order 66. That shit is iconic. I love that. It'll forever go down as like the movie that influenced me the most, probably, of any movie of all time. Honest to God. And yeah, I love Revenge of the Sith. I eat that shit up.
yeah, Revenge of the Sith is like, you go back and you're like, wow, this looks amazing. It was a good bridge between the harder to look at parts of Star Wars to just like modern day, and that was like the last thing we got of Star Wars for a while.
Yeah, and it was looking like things weren't going to be that good.
They finally nailed it visually, and then just like we didn't see it forever after that.
100%. Yeah. George Lucas went out on a bang, which was great.
For real. And that's why it's sad
Yeah.
that like the trail of everybody not liking the first two movies kind of hindered Revenge of the Sith. But for like die-hard kids who just love Star Wars, like I grew up with the prequels,
Well,
so that
exactly.
you know what I mean. Like I don't give a shit about. I'm not even thinking about other people saying anything negative about it. I'm just. It's just me and Star Wars.
You know what I think really helped the prequels a lot in hindsight and helped bridge the gap in generations is the Star Wars show Clone Wars.
That too.
Like I didn't watch that when it came out, but I knew a lot of people that were, and it pretty
Yeah.
much in hindsight I watched all episodes and it pretty much sealed the universe. Like you get so much character growth and like stories out of that it's amazing.
Yeah. I just want to a couple more things about Revenge of the Sith. The droids are all on point. Grievous. We get a
Oh
whole
yeah.
Grievous. Like Grievous is such a good villain that's out of nowhere. It's literally just like
That's out of nowhere.
here's this awesome, cool fucking villain. Star Wars is all about cool characters. You know what I mean? Like, and that's holy shit. They fucking nailed it with Grievous.
I agree, but going back to the that animated show we were talking about, do you remember Grievous in that show and how it built him up before Revenge of the Sith? Like, did you watch that show before Revenge of the Sith came out?
I did not, but I do know that he was like I know that happened. But I never watched that show. I never watched that first. When you said Clone Wars again just recently, I thought you were talking about the CGI Clone
When I just
Wars.
said that,
I've
I
never
was
watched the
talking
cartoon.
about the CGI Clone Wars.
All
When
right,
I
good,
just
good.
mentioned it, like when I said that to me, the CGI Clone Wars is what bridged the like generations and helped keep Star Wars
Yeah,
in everybody's mind and like and you know what I mean, everything like that. But
absolutely.
that Clone Wars TV show, I remember when I was a kid and I watched that. I literally stood awake every night that it was gonna be on, and I would watch that specifically to see like the new like segment or episode or whatever they called it because they aired in like segments or whatever. And it to me like it built Grievous up to be like the ultimate killing machine and to just be this like crazy like fucked up crazy monster that would just like take out countless amounts of Jedis, including the great Jedi Shaggy, who looked just like Shaggy from Scooby Doo. About Revenge of the Sith or Clone Wars? I mean, I could go all day about Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith, because that's what we're talking about.
I mean, honestly, it was just a great way to cap off the trilogy and I really, I do love Attack of the Clones. I only wish that the Phantom Menace was really different. I could really like to me Attack of the Clones doesn't really need to be that different. The only thing that really could change in Attack of the Clones is they could improve the CGI a little bit. But that's something that can easily be done in hindsight. I mean, sure, some of
Yeah,
the writing's a little wonky here and there
yeah.
with
It's
Anakin and
funny you say
Padme.
that. It's funny you say that because like, didn't he go back and redo all the CGI for those movies? A
Well,
bunch.
he did for the originals. I don't know if he did for the prequels, which people had a real problem with the originals. I have a problem with the originals, but that's only because he destroyed all copies of the original copies. So you can't get like the unedited versions of the or he didn't destroy them, but like it they got discontinued the original copies of the movies, so you can't find them anymore.
Yeah.
But but the prequels could really use like a CGI upgrade. I maybe they did do that. I don't know. I mean, when I watched Revenge of the Sith recently in theaters, it was very good. Like it was, you know what I mean? It genuinely the CGI was fantastic. I couldn't really there were some moments that still looked a little wonky, but I think that they did a really good job with like the HD and like upscaling it or whatever they did. But I don't know. That's the one thing with AI though now is that they could go back and like improve a lot of these movies and upscale them. And you could say that that's a bad thing, but it might help a couple things.
What do you think about number 3?
I mean, I would say Empire Strikes Back should be number 3.
I'll give it to you. Yeah.
I mean, to me, that was the one that was like really exciting as a kid too. Like Return of the Jedi was amazing, but Empire was just really like dark and exciting. So like I remember like I would always watch like that beginning Hoth scene.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, the parts that bored me the most were Dagobah and the space scenes with the Millennium Falcon. Like for some reason I never really liked the asteroid scene where they like go into it like the worm's stomach or whatever. It's not that I didn't really like it. It's just it almost pulls me out of like the movie, which is I usually remember we were talking about the Green Knight and how like that's what it's all about, like these wacky like misadventures that characters go on. Well, that one just to me just like I got why they did it, but it to me just like took me kind of out of the movie a little bit. I was like, this just feels like I just wandered into another adventure in a different movie and then just randomly went back to what we were doing, if that makes sense. But again, the ending to that movie is, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I have a hard time choosing what's the better ending of those three movies, but I think Empire has quite possibly the best ending of any one of the Star Wars movies.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Like I loved Return and Revenge because Revenge felt so like heavy on like a massive level, and it is. And then I liked Return because it felt so light on a massive level because it's a celebration sort of in the end. But Empire, like as an adult, I feel like watching it, I'm like, this is the most emotional like of the endings and the most like what?
You know what ending always gives me chills?
Which one?
Revenge of the Sith.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's like such a heavy, heavy ending. It feels like I think I kind of said this before. It feels like everybody just really just feels down. Like everybody's at their lowest in the entire galaxy. Every single character is at quite possibly their lowest point, other than Luke and Leia.
It's almost like relieving though, because it's like leaving us in the hand. Like it brings us into this horrible scenario, and that's where it ends. But then it hands us off to what we know is going to happen in a very comfortable way. So we're like, wow, like yep, that's how it fucking happened. And we know what happens. Like I think they nailed that. But yeah, man. Empire Strikes Back. My favorite part is the Hoth part. Honestly,
That would probably be my favorite part too.
Vader showdown in the ending is great too.
The, yeah, that was good. I like when Vader just literally pops out of the shadows and like does his like lightsaber move. Like that's
Yeah.
amazing. Like just like in Rogue One, literally. Let's see. 3 is Empire.
If 3 is Empire, 4 is definitely A New Hope.
All right. So I'll be honest with you. A New
Come
Hope.
on.
All right. I will say yes to A New Hope being number 4. I no pun intended. But
We didn't intend for that to happen.
no, we did not at all. That's kind of funny though. But that's the literally probably the only time that that's gonna happen on this entire list. But
You could be wrong.
I could be. I could be. That's actually true. I could be wrong. Um, I don't know. I always liked A New Hope. It was, looking back, it's like to me, it's almost like watching The Godfather Part 1 and Part 2. To me, The Godfather Part 1 is the movie that I like more, almost for the reason why I like A New Hope just in general. But The Godfather Part 2 to me was better written, but I don't like it as much as The Godfather Part 1. Because there's to me in the first one there's so many iconic scenes and things that happen that have just resonated throughout pop culture that I just love that so much. And that's the thing that I love about A New Hope specifically. I'm not the story to me is like, all right, cool, whatever. It's like it's Star Wars. It's the original Star Wars story. But I love the amount of iconic things, the amount of iconic lines. Oh, that's no moon. Um, he made the Kessel Run in 14 parsecs or less than 12 parsecs or whatever it was. I'm probably gonna lose my nerd license for misremembering that quote, but you know what I mean? It's like there's so many classic quotes in that original movie, and the whole series has just classic quotes up the wazoo,
I,
but that movie's great.
I think the beginning of adventure vibe from Star Wars, Episode 4, has not been matched ever since. Like, and I don't mean like it's like the greatest, but like that type of feeling, something about Tatooine. You know what I mean? Something about the way that Luke is acting. You know, something about the world itself that's waiting to be revealed. I've never felt that type of feeling in any other movie ever again.
I would agree with that. Yeah, it's a wicked vibe. It's a
It
wicked
really,
vibe.
really is. And like you
Yeah,
can say it has goofy parts, but like
yeah.
man, that movie just like was such a good begin. Like how we're talking about Revenge of the Sith and Return of the Jedi are just such solid ends.
Well, you talking about
Episode
like
4,
Luke and
that's
stuff
why.
like that. That
Yeah, that
iconic scene when he's looking up at the twin sun setting, that to me like just like nails like everything that you were just saying about him. Like that
and,
whole
and
like yearning for adventure.
yeah. Usually I lean. I told you I'd put like both Empire and A New Hope tied at third place. I lean toward A New Hope, really. But I know that Empire Strikes Back is like the most acclaimed one.
Yeah.
I know everybody respects the most respected. So I respect that too. And I love that movie as well. But I feel like I lean toward A New Hope. So if I could, I would put it tied with Empire.
Well, that's something we definitely won't agree on. I mean, if you want to put as a tie, but I would say A New Hope would
Something
be
we didn't really
number
talk about. Like you kind
4.
of like brushed by Dagobah, but like
Well, that
I will
I
say
brushed by because
I just
that
want to
to
mention.
me also was like I wasn't into Dagobah. Those are like the two parts of the movie I wasn't into. Was the middle.
I know you mentioned that. I'm just saying that personally because we talked about it real quick. I forgot to mention that Yoda is amazing.
Oh, Yoda is amazing.
That is such a big part of why Empire Strikes Back is so great. And yeah, it definitely deserves to be in third place. But so does A New Hope.
Yeah, maybe. You know what I didn't like about Dagobah is just how long it took to get to the training. Is like I didn't like how Yoda just fucked with him like the whole time because it felt like just a waste of time. But like I guess that's also the frustration that Luke Skywalker was feeling in that exact
Exactly.
moment. So maybe
Exactly.
I'm just feeling the movie and how I should feel.
Yeah, it adds to like the mystical, almost Disney feel to it.
Almost Disney because Disney
That's
wasn't
why.
like um it was a Fox movie back then.
But do you know what I mean by like the Disney feel to it? Like a Disney
Yeah.
cartoon, like an old Disney movie that like it really has like this cool, whimsical, magical nature to it.
Well,
Once you add
yeah,
Yoda.
it feels like yeah, that and it feels like a cereal. It feels like an old cereal. Not like cereal like that you'd eat, but like
Yeah,
a
I know
cereal
what you
that you'd watch. You know what I mean? Yeah.
mean.
Indiana Jones feels like that too.
Yeah. Episode 4, New Hope, number 4.
All right, so what is number 5? Hmm.
This is where we gotta talk.
Yeah, this is where things go a little
I think it should be Attack of the Clones, personally. Attack of the Clones is pure Star Wars fun.
All right. I'll give it to you. For the reasons that we talked about earlier, how it felt like
You also
really
like
like
it, right?
I do. I love Attack of the Clones, but it's not like my favorite movie. It's like it's not my least favorite prequel, but it's not my favorite prequel. You know what I mean? It's
Oh yeah, well our favorite prequel's already up there. You know what I mean?
no, I know, but it's like it's not even it's I don't know. It's hard cuz like to me the parts with Anakin and Padme are the parts that I don't like in that movie. I really
Honestly, I
don't
don't.
like those
It's like
parts.
it's so few. Like it's really not that
But
much.
it really just takes me out of the movie and just cringes the shit out of me. And it's always done that to the point where as a kid I would skip those parts. And I thought like I just didn't like the idea of love or something, but no, I realized I just don't like shitty love writing.
Yeah. Well,
No offense to George
I
Lucas, you know.
I think that the whole love situation between Anakin and Padme is so different from anything else that like it's hard to just like look at it and not cringe. Like it's pretty cringy his whole life, but maybe it's also kind of why it's fucked up.
It's like I hate sand. It's coarse. It gets everywhere.
Like he's just talking about
Fuck.
nothing like a child. Like I genuinely don't hate those scenes. Just they're trying to make him sound like a child, and she's trying to like
I
beg him.
know, I
Like,
hate it
oh,
though. But he is an adult and he is a child. That's what's funny about this whole thing is that she fell in love with a young guy that was clearly
yep,
immature and clearly couldn't handle it. You know?
yeah, she fucked up.
She did. Fucking Natalie Portman, man. What is she doing? All right. So we'll put Attack of the Clones as number
I
5.
need to say more about Attack of the Clones, so we can't just
All
we can't
right.
just say it after you just diss it like that and be like, all right, yeah, so it's number 5.
Just does it like that. Attack of the Clones, amazing. And I love the well, I shouldn't go that far. I love the Genosha scenes.
The Genoshan scenes, oh yeah, everything on Genosha is amazing. The new Stormtrooper clone, like seeing all those different kinds of cool new clone armors and things, and like the fucking ships, watching all these, watching Yoda just act like a war general. He's just like it's so cool. It's so cool. Like I said, I love the opening stuff on Coruscant. You know what I mean? I love chasing the
Yeah.
bounty hunter. I love going into the club. I love that shit.
To expand on the Coruscant thing, I really like the vibe that they put out for Coruscant where it kind of felt like you were like walking into the world. Like I know they did that a lot, but like you didn't really feel that kind of vibe as much from any other part other than like maybe say the cantina scene in the original like A New Hope. You know what I'm saying? Like that
Yeah.
scene where he walks into like that gambling bar and shit like that to me was like you got so much out of the universe.
I think. Oh wait, you know what's funny? The
The
diner
deck.
scene.
Yeah, that too. Everything
That
on
shit was just
Coruscant like
goofy.
at that point.
That
Yeah,
shit
it
was
was
just goofy.
goofy, but it added to the universe. It
Yeah.
showed us that they're stuck in a 50s type era. Or at least that one diner is.
Oh yeah, the Camino stuff with Obi Wan. We mentioned it before. Everything on Camino is amazing.
It is, but I
Oh
I
what?
think I think the it's funny how confused and jarring like Obi-Wan Kenobi is and how shitty of a detective he is. Even though I love Obi-Wan Kenobi and he's probably like one of my favorite characters of the entire series. Probably next to Anakin, probably number 2 maybe, if I'm not mistaken. I love Anakin, but Obi-Wan I think is number 2. But how it's hilarious how terrible of a detective Obi-Wan is when he's trying to figure things out and he just looks so confused about everything that's happening. But I love when the Kaminoans are showing all the clones and Obi-Wan it's just all hitting him all at once where he's just like, "Whoa, this is some crazy deep shit that's happening that the Republic is getting into and that they don't even know that they're getting into." It shows the literally the Clone Wars unraveling in real time. It's almost like in hindsight, it's kind of funny because it shows an international skirmish in like real time unraveling before our eyes, like the behind the scenes of like a crazy political situation that's going to result in like crazy amounts of war. And that's kind of what the Phantom of the Menace was built up to be. It was built up to be that initial like trade federation is committing a blockade and yada yada yada. But to me, Attack of the Clones felt like it literally was the first shot fired in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was that very beginning stuff was about the war going on, but honestly, it ended up being a very focused movie. It wasn't really all about what was going on, other than that they're coming after Naboo, and like you just have to worry about wait, we're on
That
Tatooine.
was that was more of like that was like That was like the opposite of Return of the Jedi, The Phantom Menace. Because it was a small faction of separatists that were trying to attack the Republic, who were currently in power. You know what I'm saying? And trying to disorganize and throw the Republic into disarray, as opposed to like in Return of the Jedi, where they were trying to throw the Empire in disarray. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of a reversal situation. So the droids were basically like the rebels because they were invading the Naboo planet and trying to cause like a situation to happen. I don't know if that makes sense, but
You
that's
know what else is great about Attack of the Clones?
what
The spider droids.
the droid Ekkas. Or no, what?
No,
Oh, are you the big ones that shoot lasers and
yeah,
shit?
yeah,
Those are pretty cool. Yeah,
that was a
yeah,
fucking
those are cool.
threat.
You know what's funny is that there were a lot of cool droids in Attack of the Clones. I mean, they were in Revenge of the Sith too, but Attack of the Clones, I think, had like the better, more innovative droids. Like Buzz droids are stupid in Revenge of the Sith, but like you see like the fucking droid tanks that are just shooting rockets as they got these big ass like wheels going. That was cool.
All right. If you want to move on from Attack of the Clones, I think I should remind you that it doesn't have to be movies. We can start slipping in TV shows, and if you want to, we can even start mentioning some video games. Because I know that I never played it, but I know Knights of the Old Republic is one of the most important pieces of Star Wars out there for a lot of people.
Did you want to stick to stuff that's canon, or do you want to add non-canon stuff too?
You know what? I think you're right. You know, that's true. Because if we stick to what's on TV and movies, that's all canon.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Um.
just because I just want to mention that like right around this time, right around the area we're in, I would start considering the original Battlefront 2 for being like the next best thing in Star Wars.
Technically, those games are technically canon.
Yeah,
I would
Battlefront 2,
say,
man. Oh my
hey,
god.
I would say link those two and tie them together as number 6. Both of them.
Number 6. That was number 5.
No, Attack of the Clones was number 5.
That's what I'm saying. What's number 6? We didn't pick
Battlefront.
that yet.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna say Battlefront.
Oh, so you are. I can say it's 6.
I mean, yeah, I'm cool with that. I don't
You
know.
mean the original
Well,
Battlefront and Battlefront 2?
all right, but I want 7 to be Rogue One. If
We
6 is
don't have to do
Battlefront.
video games. It doesn't have to be a video game.
Yeah, all right. Let's stick to video games that are different but still canon, like Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor.
No. Not even that. We're only TV and movies.
All right, number 6, Rogue One.
I agree. Rogue One is pretty amazing.
It is. It's fantastic, and it was made by a guy who's not into Star Wars, which is really funny. Really, really funny, actually. Same with Andor. Andor's made by the same guy, Tony Gilroy. Not into Star Wars.
Wow. I thought Ryan Johnson made that.
Ryan Johnson, no, he made Star Wars Episode 7, the one that's really divisive that everyone hates, that I hate.
I know he did that one too. Wait, no. Episode 7 is Force Awakens, which was J.J. Abrams.
Oh, sorry, Episode 8 is what I meant. I just don't even think of Episode 8 as existing. Um, let's see. Screenplay was by Tony Gilroy and Chris Weitz, and the film was directed by Gareth Edwards, who also directed King Kong, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, he directed Godzilla and Jurassic World Rebirth.
Oh, okay, cool. Godzilla's great. It's not a very good story, but it's great.
Yeah, it's a good movie. So Tony Gilroy was the one who did Andor and did Rogue One, who wrote it, and then I think he directed the series or was the showrunner on the series, something like that. But yeah, it's funny that it's from a guy who's not that into Star Wars. It was written by that, but it ended up being really kick ass. I love the scenes with the Death Star testing that shit was fucking crazy. The scenes with Darth Vader feel real. They feel like they should, even though it's the first time they've really tried Darth Vader. You know what I mean? That's the first time Disney actually tried Darth Vader out. They kind of they did it right. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the scene in Marvel when they show Thanos and James Gunn talked about that was like how that was like the hardest scene he ever had to write for Guardians of the Galaxy because he wanted to make it so particular. I imagine that was the same case for the guys that were doing Rogue One because you haven't seen Darth Vader since Revenge of the Sith, and even then you only saw him for a brief second other than the Anakin Vader scenes where he's just unleashing and going crazy. You know what I mean? You didn't see like the actual Vader with a red lightsaber just going off. And you got to see that for the first time and they really captured Vader's like essence. And the fact that it leads right up to A New Hope and just bridges that gap so effortlessly is just crazy.
You just reminded. I remember hearing that they were working on a TV show or a movie that was about Vader. Like straight up, it's like he's the main character.
Yeah, I heard about that too. I think that would be amazing, honestly. I think that would be awesome. Have you ever
Yeah.
read the Vader comic books that are like they're
Oh,
actually I think canon to like
I have
to
not.
Disney Star Wars? They're really good. Like they're really good. There's one where Vader takes on like a whole rebel army. They show Vader in his Mustafar castle basically like that he built after like you know how he has the Mustafar castle in Rogue One? That's a big part of the comic books. He actually builds it in the comics and he like does this spiritual journey where like he even sees a vision of Palpatine like manipulating the midichlorians in Shmi's like pregnant belly. So like maybe that's like, the origin of Anakin or yada yada.
Is that really canon?
Yeah, the Vader comics are canon.
They just like it's a fact that Palpatine created
It's
it.
not necessarily a fact. That was a vision. That was a Star Wars vision. So like is it a fact that Rey became, had that dual lightsaber eventually? No, she didn't. She didn't become a Sith or anything. That was just a possible vision that she saw. So what that could be is that could be what actually happened. And that's I think the strong implication is that is what happened, but that is also just one possibility or one implication. But
True.
I don't know. I love Rogue One and there's so much that's come from Rogue One that I really I think is fantastic.
Yeah. What's that character's name that everybody loves?
Alan Tudyk.
Sal Guerrero.
Oh, Sagara, he's all right. I think he's okay. I think I don't like his character to be honest with you because I don't like his resolve. He's like way too bombastic and like kind of an asshole, especially in Clone Wars. If you watch Clone Wars with him, he's way too much of an asshole. Could be a better guy, but you kind of get it
Yeah.
because like his sister dies or something. But he kind of goes nuts.
What is the next one?
Mandalorian, I would say honestly for number
Yup.
7.
Yup.
Yeah. Just kind of took everybody by surprise. It unlocked that Star Wars niche that everybody wanted again because everybody was starting to hate Star Wars again and they needed something fresh and bold. And then Mandalorian just kind of came and it just like it hit that sweet spot that everybody needed, even non-fans needed. That thing that just got non-fans into it, Grogu, Din Djarin, like it has everything that people could want out of it. I love it. I love Mandalorian. It's a great show, and honestly, from my personal list, it's probably higher.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I think right now, personally, it's right where it should be.
I get that. I think between the two of us, it's pretty good. It's pretty good where it is.
It's hard for me to rank things. Like I too often I want to just say these two are equal. In my mind, these two things are equal. And to me, Clone Wars, Rogue One, and Mandalorian are all tied for that spot.
I could see that.
That's why and just spoiler alert, number 8 should be Clone Wars.
Like the TV show?
Yeah.
All right. I think that's a good choice.
So continue with number 7.
I mean, that's I kind of said my piece on number 7. It's a great show. The only thing I will say is I didn't like the last season, the third season. And honestly, if the third season was crazy good, it might have been higher for me. I would have argued for it to be higher in the list.
I feel like one thing that was really holding the show back was giving him that lightsaber, and then him not really doing enough cool things with it. Like, it's cool that he has to struggle to use it, but the fact
Yeah,
that he's just like always struggling with it, and like we never see him do really anything overly cool.
yeah,
We're
because
just waiting for it. What we
really
want
he got the
inside of us.
lightsaber in order for the lightsaber to be a thing. But the lightsaber wasn't a thing with him, and instead it just kind of pushed his character into a plateau where he didn't go anywhere. He didn't go further as a character. He just kind of stayed on that level. Yeah, I get that. But all right, Clone Wars, amazing show. I mean, that's just like there's really I can't really say anything
It's
bad
got
about
everything.
Clone Wars. I love Clone
It's
Wars.
got like every type of Star Wars in it.
It does. Like I don't even like to watch like I'll watch seasons 4 through 7 mostly. I won't even watch almost anything before that. But I still like if it comes I love it. Still, it's amazing. Like I really love when Darth Maul becomes a thing again in that show. It was great to see Darth Maul's like progression as a character like again. Like seething with hatred.
Yeah, that and then like seeing all these Jedi's that you get a glimpse of in the movies and just
Mhm.
having whole episodes about them and like long story arcs over multiple seasons. So satisfying. So satisfying.
Seeing the behind the scenes of like the separatists too, like Count Dooku and Grievous, and like seeing how they operated, making them more menacing and showing like Asajj Ventress and like all this other shit.
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane, yes, Cad Bane's awesome, and I really wish they did more with him in the Book of Boba Fett. Honestly, they didn't do enough. He was just more intimidating than anything else.
Yeah, I think he's coming back.
Yeah, I think so too. What do you think number 9 should be?
You said what should be number 9?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Because now we're getting into like the bottom of the barrel. I guess not really. Honestly, we're not getting to the bottom of the barrel.
I guess we're getting the bottom of the barrel. No, this stuff is still good.
Ahsoka is amazing, and I'm putting it up there right after Clone Wars. What do you think about that?
Um, you said you want to put Ahsoka above Clone Wars?
No, no, no. It's right after. It's right up there after.
I don't really necessarily agree with that.
What do you think should be next?
Uh,
Because to me, like Ahsoka, it's got that cool feel that Mandalorian was giving us, but it's just back to Jedi's being the focus again, which I don't hate. You know?
you never watched Rebels?
I have watched Rebels.
To me, Rebels should go right after Clone Wars. I think
I
it's almost on par with Clone Wars, but it's just slightly not. It's just not as good. I think the animation is what
exactly.
makes it not as good.
It's not as good, and
But it's
honestly, like a
still
lot of it,
amazing,
it's still
dude.
amazing in a lot of ways.
I
I
think
just think that
Twilight of the Apprentice, those 2 episodes in Rebels are on par with the best Clone Wars episodes, if not better than the best Clone Wars episodes that have ever come out. Those 2 episodes of Rebels, I think, are better than most other Clone Wars episodes, if not all of them. Just those 2 episodes.
you don't think
If they,
anything in Ahsoka was that good, if not better.
no, I don't. Honest to God.
Right.
I really wasn't that impressed with Ahsoka like I wanted to be.
That's how I felt about the Obi-Wan show. Obi-Wan show I don't like at all, really.
See, I like the Obi-Wan show, but I also like at the same time I get
Here's where we're starting to differ.
we are starting to differ. Yeah.
This can be hard to do now, but we gotta still figure it out. We gotta figure it out. State your case for Rebels.
I mean, that's how I feel. Like I said, I think Twilight of the Apprentice specifically, those two episodes, part one and part two, are better than anything in Clone Wars.
Hmm.
Literally, I have you seen those two episodes that I'm talking about with Darth Maul
Yeah.
and
Oh, I have.
Vader and Ahsoka? Like that to me is like it's it's almost better than a lot of other Star Wars, and I would even put those two episodes up with some of the best Star Wars ever.
I got multiple things I wanna talk about with Ahsoka. But first and foremost, I will say that Thrawn in Ahsoka is way more intimidating and just way more satisfying to see than Thrawn in Rebels.
Well, yeah, 100%. He's not that intimidating in Rebels. He's more of a tactician, but he's creepy in live action. I think the creepiness in live action adds to the factor, and he feels creepy in animation, but he definitely feels way creepier in live action.
Also seeing, the witches, Ray Stevenson's fucking like Dark
Yeah, but
Jedi.
it sucks because we're not going to get Ray Stevenson again in season two.
That does suck. But I think I could be wrong, but I think we're getting the guy who played the Hound. I think he might be the new one
What's the Hound?
from Game of Thrones.
Oh, I don't know Game of Thrones. That's the one thing that you're going to be the expert on that I definitely
You
am
would
not.
you would love Game of Thrones. It has so much Star Wars in it. You would love it.
It has so much Star Wars in it.
I'm serious, dude. I'm serious.
I watched the first episode of Game of Thrones like 5 times and I could not get into it because my buddy in high school kept showing it to me. And I mean, I can recognize it as a good show, but it's not, I don't know. I'm not a fantasy guy though that much. You know what I mean? Like I like these weird like old fantasy movies from like the 70s that were like one-offs that were like sword and sorcery and adventures, but I wasn't really that into like I'm not huge into Lord of the Rings, although I loved Fellowship of the Ring as a kid. That was like my like I watched that so many times. But that was it. Like even the rest of the Lord of the Rings movies I wasn't that into. I would just watch Fellowship of the Ring for some reason. I don't know why.
Hmm.
But yeah. But that's what I mean. Like, I don't know. Fantasy was never like my big thing. I like certain fantasy. Like The Green Knight, fantastic. Like that to me is what more fantasy should be like. Is like that. But like I didn't like the political stuff in the Green Knight, and that to me is what I don't really like about like Game of Thrones is it's like very political and like people playing each other and shit like that. If I want to see something like that, I like more like crime dramas and shit like that, like real world, like shit like that.
Politics is a big part of Star Wars.
It is, but
It's a pretty huge part about Star Wars.
but I don't know. It doesn't feel the same as Game of Thrones to me. To me, Game of Thrones. To me, what you're saying. So to me, the Game of Thrones politics feels the most like the Phantom of the Menace politics, and that's what I don't like about it.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on in Game of Thrones. You can't.
But that's what I'm saying. There's a lot going on in Phantom of the Menace. It's like just a straight political movie. And that's what I don't
Well, I,
like
I
about it.
disagree with that. 'Cause honestly, we talked about how only the very beginning and the ending are very political. It's like mainly just a
No.
very focused movie about what's going on Tatooine.
There's a lot going on behind the scenes of what do you call it?
Behind the
Of Phantom of the Menace. Of Phantom Menace. Whatever, however you say it. There's a lot going on. Just read that opening crawl, dude.
I think Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith are way more political than Phantom Menace.
I don't think so. Talking about trade deficits and shit like that and like they set up the Phantom Menace to be literally like they're talking about a trading embargo. Like That's what it says in the opening crawl.
That's just business.
Well,
No, I don't know. Listen,
hold on. Phantom Menace. Turmoil has engulfed the Galactic Republic. The taxation of trade routes to outlying star systems is in dispute. Hoping to resolve the matter with a blockade of deadly battleships, the greedy Trade Federation has stopped all shipping to the small planet of Naboo, while the Congress of the Republic endlessly debates this alarming chain of events. The Supreme Chancellor has secretly dispatched 2 Jedi Knights, the guardians of peace and justice in the galaxy, to settle the conflict. That's very political. Way more political than the next two movies. The next two movies may have had like more political like stuff happening, but they were more grandiose. This was more like simple political shit that was happening, like boring political shit. But that to me, like this is the most like Game of Thrones is that shit that I just read right there. That and whatever Kanye's into is there seems to be a lot of that in Game of Thrones.
yeah, there's a lot more of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not into Game of Thrones. You show me another sword and sorcery TV show or movie, I'll check it out, but I don't know.
Check out A Night of the Seven Kingdoms when it comes out. Check that
Uh,
out.
isn't that the new one
Yeah,
that Los was saying is about Jesus?
no, or maybe he thought it was.
The Three Kings or something like that? Is that the one?
The one I'm talking about is about one knight who might not even be a knight. He was like a scrappy, like 17-year-old. I think he's 17, might be like 18, 19.
Mm-hmm.
And he accidentally meets a secret prince of the Targaryen family who has like shaved his head to hide his
Oh
hair
my god, this is a
everywhere.
Game of Thrones movie?
Yeah, it's a show.
I don't need to see this. Dude, if I haven't seen Game of Thrones by now, with how crazy it is in the public eye, do I really have to?
Dude, just trust me that this one's going to be different from Game of Thrones and the other spinoff.
This
This
one's
is
gonna be
those.
different. Trust me.
Trust me, dude.
I don't know.
Trust me.
I can't. It's gonna take a lot to get me to watch Game of Thrones.
A lot of
I'm not
drugs.
doing it. A lot of drugs, yeah. That's that's what it's gonna take. A lot of drugs. For anyone listening, if you want me to watch Game of Thrones, just drug the shit out of me. Give me some mushrooms, acid. Let's go. That sounds awful. Watching Game of Thrones on mushrooms or acid sounds like it would be
Night of the
very
Seven Kingdoms
intense.
is actually a focused story, and you're just focusing on that character, meeting this character, and then I'm going to this tournament, and like all this just crazy shit happening, and like having like an amazing ending. Also,
Dude,
like,
there's so many movies that I could watch out there. There's so many movies out there, dude. There's so many. I don't have to watch Game of Thrones. I don't even have to
you
watch
don't have
Star
to.
Wars ever again, which I
You don't
would
have
not.
to.
I would not do that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of
You'd
those
just be
things.
missing out.
I'd be missing out.
I'll let you know if they. Hey, I'll let you know if they botch it. I'll let you know if they botch it.
That's good because they really botched the other one from what I heard. So that definitely sounds good to me. If it's good, it's good.
They only botched Game of Thrones for like season 5 on.
Yeah, but I heard that the one Amazon show or whatever wasn't that great. The first season or whatever. Or the new show.
The only spinoff that's also on. It's also on HBO. The first season actually did pretty well, but the second season people stopped liking.
Oh, second season. All right, so it's the opposite. All right.
The first season's fucked up and crazy and actually pretty good.
Those Targaryens. But
Dude, the Targaryens are like the least interesting part. And it's a shame that they keep trying to focus on it so much. Because I think, honestly, the writer is like more obsessed with the Targaryens.
Hmm. I don't know. I don't think I'm ever gonna watch Game of Thrones, to be honest with you. It would be funny if the next episode we open it and I'm just like, so I watched all the Game of Thrones, including the spin-offs. Every single episode, and I'm just staring at the screen with like fried eyes.
I still mean what I said when I said there's a lot of Star Wars in Game of Thrones.
I don't doubt it, but
It's not just the politics.
I like my Star Wars in Star Wars. And even then, it can be too much Star Wars in the Star Wars. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Sometimes too much Star Wars can be too much Star Wars. We can say this now. It's May the 5th. It's Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
My favorite Star Wars movie to watch is Attack of the Clones. Let me say that again. My favorite Star Wars movie to watch is Attack of the Clones. So I don't think that there's too much Star Wars ever.
I don't know. Whatever they did in episode 8, that was too much. Or not enough.
Not enough.
That was too much of something.
Let's finish up the list.
All right, yeah, that's cool. How long did you want to go with the list? Because we got a lot of stuff to choose.
We're gonna rank every single movie and TV show. I'm gonna concede to you that place. What is it, 8th?
We're at number 9. So you want to give it to Rebels?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. I think it deserves that.
That means Ahsoka is number 10.
I'm fine with that. I did like Ahsoka more than Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So then, all right. Yep. So number 9, Rebels. Number 10, Ahsoka. We pretty much talked about what we like about Ahsoka. Number 11, what would be right after Ahsoka? Star Wars Force Awakens?
So I need your help with this one. I'm thinking Tales from the Jedi, or Tales of the Jedi, or Star Wars Visions.
I think we should loop Tales from the Jedi and Empire or Sith or whatever it was together.
To what?
Just rope them in together and just call it Tales.
No, but Visions isn't connected to that at all.
I know, I'm not saying that should be roped in. I'm saying the Tales, I think Tales first and then Visions next.
Are there more than one Tales series? I thought it was just Tales of the Jedi.
No, there's Tales from the Jedi and Tales from the Empire, or Tales from the Sith. I forgot which one. I think it's Empire, though.
What? When did that come out?
That came out like last year, I think, or the year before.
I gotta check that out. Is that real? Look that up. Is that real?
No, it is real. I watched it. One of the episodes was Count Dooku and General Grievous invading the Night Sisters area. And then it shows how one of them became the chick that becomes the one that Ahsoka tracks down that knows Thrawn because she works for the Empire. Remember the one that she tracks down in Mandalorian?
Tales of the Empire. I just looked it up.
Yeah, Tales of the Empire.
I have not watched this. I gotta see this.
It's pretty good. There's only 2 like real episode, like not episodes but like stories, but it's pretty good.
Yes, the Jedi girl who like betrayed the Jedi.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. I always liked Barriss Offee's story in Clone Wars.
Yeah, and they call it Tales on Wikipedia.
So that's what I'm saying. We should just rope those 2 together and I think call it number 11. Even though you haven't seen Empire. Did they? What is it called?
Tales of the Underworld.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That'll be cool. Sadly, it's probably going to show the... What is it?
Something to watch now.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
So, but do you think that should be 11 and not Visions?
Yeah, no, that's what I think. I mean, that's the thing is I'm not a huge fan of Visions, to be honest with you. So
what?
I'm willing to concede Visions is number 11. Or sorry,
What?
number 12. But I'm not. No, I'm not a. But I'm not a huge anime guy. This is the thing that the
It's not all
viewers
anime.
or listeners. This is the
There's some
thing that
like
the
there's some like
listeners should know
Wallace and
about me.
Gromit type animation.
I'm. I know, but even then, I'm not that big of. I like Robot Chicken, but that's as far as I go with that. But I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of Visions when I watched it. The one episode I kind of liked was actually probably the most craziest like anime episode of the bunch. It was the one that was like a classic like anime from like the 60s or 70s or whatever. It was in black and white and it was like the last episode of the first season. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, the one with the where like the hero samurai. It's all samurais. It's like more like classic
Yeah,
samurai.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The
I
hero
like that a
turns out to be
lot.
a Sith.
Yeah. Yeah, literally.
Yeah, that was some peak Star Wars right there. That's like some of the best Star Wars I've ever seen.
I don't know. And I like the episode that takes place like wicked far in the future, but I think at the same time they kind of botched it because I thought it could have been better. I didn't like the episode with Boba Fett cheering on like a rock band.
I love that episode.
I did not like that episode at all. That's part of why I am not into the show.
The kid was a Padawan, and he turned his broken lightsaber into a micro.
You'd think that I would love that given I love music so much, but I was not into it.
It's alright, dude. You're broken.
It is true, I am broken. Everybody knows it about me. Somebody should repair me back into a lightsaber guitar. But anyways, number 11 is Star Wars Visions. That's what we're gonna say.
Yeah. Well, no, no.
Tales.
Well, hold on. We got to figure out like why. Which like I think Visions should be above Tales because Tales is just kind of like more of Clone Wars made by somebody else, and it is
I
interesting.
I think Tales should be above Visions because it really there's a lot of mysteries that were involved in Clone Wars and it pretty much nails a lot of those mysteries and even expands on mysteries after Clone Wars. Like where did Ahsoka's Thrawn lady come from and stuff like that, and even makes the story behind the scenes of those things better.
I think it should be Visions because Visions shows like so like it does so many things in Star Wars that have never been done that have been like people have been begging for a long time, and it nails them. And the only problem that Visions has is that because it's an anthology with different animation styles, that there's whole episodes certain people don't like because it's not their style. If you take it for like, look at the thing that you do love about it. Now compare that thing to Tales. Like if you compare that one samurai episode, and compare it to Tales, I think that samurai episode is way better.
Eh, I don't know. I haven't watched that samurai episode since the first time I watched it, but I've watched Tales
It's
like
not
a whole
just
bunch
that.
of
I know
times.
you don't like anime, but there's a good anime episode. Fuck it. I like the rock and roll episode. Personally, I like that. But just the fucking crazy future one where you have it's like a future dyad of twins. They're fucking crazy.
You know what Tales has that Visions doesn't have, though?
What? What?
It has Yaddle.
I don't want no yaddle.
That just they have an entire Yaddle episode where you see Yaddle get killed. It's amazing. Spoiler alert. I should have probably put that up front, but still. Yaddle gets killed, dude. You don't think that that's great and is worth a spot on the 11th?
I don't know. It's not really. I'm not begging for death of yaddle.
What if we make Visions and Tales a tie?
If we can
Because
do that, then we would have had. I'm mad because there's plenty of other things I would have wanted as a tie.
I feel like this has to be a tie because I haven't seen the rest of season 2, like the second half, I don't think. And you haven't seen season 2 at all of Tales. And we don't know what season 3 is gonna be like.
I'm sending this on Discord. I know you've seen it, but online, this clip is called "The Coolest Moment in Star Wars."
Yeah, I mean that was cool, but
I challenge you to show me a cooler scene in Tales.
I don't know.
Do you see what I mean, though?
I mean, I'd have to watch the entirety of Tales all over again.
I didn't have to look at Visions all over again to find that clip.
Yeah, no, I get it, but still. I don't know. If that 30 seconds is the coolest moment in Star Wars, then I don't know. There's plenty of cooler moments in Star Wars.
I'm not saying it is the coolest moment. I'm just saying that that moment is one of the coolest, for sure.
I guess I'll give you 11 as Visions, but I guess I'm conceding that I guess I don't care that much.
I'll take it.
So I said everything that I love about Tales, so that'll be 12.
Yeah, Tales is definitely 12 because you know what? It's more of Clone Wars, and Clone Wars is great.
Well, that's why I wanted it as 11 because it was basically just Clone Wars extra.
It's not exactly Clone Wars extra because it's
It is though.
kind of missing. It's missing a lot of the heart of Clone Wars.
Dude, the second season literally has Clone Wars characters.
Oh, dude, I just realized, dude. Man, I would put the Bad Batch above Rebels.
I wouldn't.
That's fine. That's fine.
I would replace Tails with the Bad Batch. I'm
I
willing
like
to put
Bad Batch more than Tales. I like it more than Tales.
Tails as 13 and Bad Batch as 12.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't want to bump down Tales anymore.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I bet there's gonna be a lot of people mad that Visions is above Bad Batch. So what if we did this? What if we put Bad Batch in spot 11, and then Visions in 12, and then Tales in 13?
Yeah, that sounds good.
I think Bad Batch is better than Visions because Bad Batch is like something people have been asking for a while, and I think they nailed that. They nailed Bad Batch.
They did, and which is funny because I didn't even really like the Bad Batch part of like the Clone Wars episodes when they debuted, but I liked the Bad Batch episodes like more than that entire season, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was good.
and I liked riffing, like shitting on the Bad Batch and calling them horrible things.
Oh, that was amazing. Yeah. Yeah, the Kaminoans, man. They're awful.
Can we get a taste of that real quick?
No, no, no. I got the thing shut
Please.
off and I'd have to like figure
You don't
out
have
the
to just do an impression. You don't have to turn it on. Tell me about the Bad Batch and why do they exist? Like, did you guys make them? You know, like, do you guys want the Bad Batch to exist?
No. The Bad Batch were mistakes like all other clones that we don't like. I don't see. It doesn't sound as good without the robotic
I
voice.
know it's still good though. If you just rolled with it, would have been great. But it's
I
okay.
know. I'm not Tilda Swinton. I can't just pull this out. No, I can just pull it out. So I maybe I am Tilda Swinton. But all right. So what are we gonna do for 14 then? This is where we get into really trippy territory.
Those vile abominations were not our desired outcome.
They were not our desired outcome. That was perfect. See, I got to give you the voice thing too. Have you mess around with it.
Hell yeah.
Number 14 though. What are we gonna say? Are we gonna do Phantom Menace finally?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I think too.
yeah. Because honestly, Darth Maul,
Yeah, he's badass.
like, there was a time where Menace obviously would have been further up, but the cool shit about Phantom Menace has been outshined by the newer media.
Oh, 100%. All right, so 15 then. What would be right after Phantom Menace?
Can we talk about Phantom Menace for a minute?
I guess so. We kind of did a lot already. No, we did. You were defending Phantom Menace. I was kind of pushing back on it, but you were defending it.
I thought Anakin hopping in one of the ships was actually pretty cool. I liked it. Not not the pod racing part, but yeah, you know what I mean, right?
That's what I call pod racing.
I like it. I didn't hate pod racing.
I kind of did, to be honest with you.
I liked when he hopped in the actual ship.
I liked when he hopped in the actual ship, but to me, the pod racing part is probably my least favorite part of the whole movie.
I
Which
think
is
it was dragged out.
that's definitely dragged out. Could have been a little bit more, you know, paced better.
I think you know what I think. I think they should have got off Tatooine and then went to another planet that they could have gone to just for like a little extra little in between adventure.
Yeah, what if the drag show or the pod racing show was off planet and they took every yeah, like drag racing, but the drag show. But what if they took that off world and you know what I mean, had the pod racing over like in like Dagobah or some shit.
No, no, not the pod racing. But imagine they have to escape the planet and they don't go straight back to Naboo. They're like chased and they go somewhere else first.
Oh, but that's what I hated about Empire Strikes Back.
It is what you hated about it. Well, it could, but
It
I
could be
didn't
what I
hate that.
love about this.
Yeah, like there's potential there to do something else. Take back.
Well, you're right because it definitely was dragged out, and they tried to cut like they tried to intermingle the other shit going on, but like they spend way too much time on Tatooine. It's just like I don't like Tatooine. It's dry. It's full of sand. Sand gets everywhere. It's coarse.
You know what else would have really helped with that all dragging out is if they spliced it up with more mall scenes, more like just mall menace or something.
Maul was severely underutilized in the movie that he was the best part of.
Yup.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And Qui-Gon was awesome. Let's also say that. And there's a theory that if Qui-Gon had survived and taught Anakin, maybe not Obi-Wan dying, but like just Qui-Gon surviving and teaching Anakin more, that Anakin probably wouldn't have like joined the dark side and been like a really crazy gray Jedi.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And that the duel of the fates, the reason why it's called that is because it's the duel for the fate of Anakin and what kind of Jedi he would turn into. And clearly it didn't work out.
Mm.
But yeah. So what do you think would be right after Phantom Menace? This is really where we get into some really tricky territory.
After that, I guess I would put. Let me look up all Star Wars film and TV.
Well,
I don't want to miss any.
yeah, we haven't said Andor,
Oh shit!
Book of Boba Fett.
Put Andor up there. I've never even seen it. I just know that it's good. Put Andor up there.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not that into Andor, but I do recognize that it's a really good show.
Yeah,
But I'll put
like
it as
that's
number
another.
15.
Yeah, let me also just look real quick before we fully say that.
We also got Book of Boba Fett. We have Solo, a Star Wars story. We have episode 7, 8, and 9. I was actually thinking maybe of putting that as number
Obi-Wan.
15, episode 7. Yeah, Obi-Wan.
The Young Jedi Adventures.
Yeah, no thanks. I really think we should add Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor as one thing into this list. Because it is canon to Star Wars.
Wait, what?
And
Say that again.
Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor are canon to Star
Yeah,
Wars. And
I know.
let's just throw Battlefront 2 story mode in there. Let's just give that a spot. All three of those things as one spot.
No, we'd
Yeah.
have to honestly, we'd have to rework everything around.
Let's just throw it there in a spot that you think it would work and then just shift everything up or down.
Hold on.
I'll have a crudely drawn paint workshop thing that represents the rankings as they've been.
Oh, there's also Skeleton Crew.
I wasn't hugely into that. I would probably
I haven't
say
seen it.
that's below these.
I haven't seen it.
It kind of fizzled out a little bit.
Yeah.
which I was excited for it because I like John Watts. He did the Spider-Man movies, the new ones.
Yeah. I don't want a chronological list. I just want a full list. And that's just the films.
We got Star Wars Holiday Special, obviously, last one, last place, no matter what.
No matter what.
What's number 16? Force Awakens?
Yeah, you could put Force Awakens there. Is Force Awakens better than Solo? I've never seen. I've seen Solo, but I don't remember anything about it. I I might not have been paying attention.
I tell people this all the time that I've seen Solo over like 5 times, but I barely remember anything that happens to it. And every time I watch it, I remember slightly more afterwards, but I still barely remember. And I would say Solo is not better than Force Awakens.
All right, so it's Force Awakens.
Yep. I would say Force Awakens is better. After that, I would say maybe Solo after that. I mean, all right, if we're gonna include Visions, then let's put Star Wars The Clone Wars on here, the original Clone Wars, and let's put that as number 17.
Okay, like the original cartoon.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Number 18, let's say, what do you think? Do you think Solo?
I don't. I couldn't even. I'm just gonna trust you when it comes to Solo, because I do think it's cool that fucking Darth Maul's in it at the end, right? Isn't he in it?
Yeah, that's cool. I like Lando too. Don Glover's
Yeah.
Lando's really good. I would say that would be next. Yeah, Solo.
But what about Andor? Did we put Andor up there yet?
We did. We put that
All
one as
right.
15.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, before we officially say 18 is Solo, what about Book of Boba Fett?
Do you think Book of Boba Fett is better than Solo?
I like Book of Boba Fett more than Solo.
Then yeah,
I wouldn't say it's more of a I wouldn't say it's a better thing, but I would definitely say I like it more.
put it goes this order: Book of Boba Fett,
I think honestly
Solo.
Skeleton Crew. I think Skeleton Crew after Boba Fett too.
Okay, Skeleton Crew.
And then Solo.
Where do you want to put Obi-Wan?
I mean, I could probably put that before Solo, honestly, because I actually like Obi-Wan.
There's parts I like.
Yeah, there's a lot that I have a problem with, and I really think that the actress they chose for Leia is like just like I don't know. I don't think she's that great for Princess Leia, but what do I know?
I think we're almost done, right?
Just about. Yeah, number 20, Solo. Or number what was it? Well, we are we gonna do Obi-Wan as 20?
Don't hate me, but I think that we should put episode before Obi-Wan. Personally,
I think that's cool, but I still think we should put Solo after that.
okay.
So I think it should go episode 9, Obi-Wan, then Solo.
Episode 9 obviously has the horrendous plot hole and just like shoehorn of Emperor Palpatine,
Yeah,
but
I kind of like it.
some of the most satisfying Star Wars events and moments.
Yeah. Remember I told you about that hall in Exegol that they reused a lot of the early concept art of like Mustafar
Yeah.
and like the Sith temple and shit. I love
And
that.
I told you that my favorite Star Wars fight, or at least one of them now, because I think I've seen a few more that are pretty amazing, but one of the best Star Wars fights is
When they're
their
on that
fight on the
boat.
road. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that was really
amazing.
cool. Yeah, I'll say that. I would even
And honestly,
potentially say that it would be
I like
before Skeleton Crew, honestly.
I like the them like don't they kiss or like they're like secretly they end up being I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
That's a big part of Star Wars.
I wish there was more of that, honestly. I wish that he didn't die. Like I wish that they explored like more of their relationship later on, and I wish you guys like own solo series or solo like trilogy or something.
I think I told you that because they're a dyad and he's died, I think he became one with her and that he's gonna be like a permanent force ghost for her.
He's gonna be like the Johnny Silverhand to her V.
Yeah.
That would be wild.
But also, remember what else I told you? How cool would it be if when she goes like rage mode and harnesses the dark side, she physically turns into him and he takes over.
Oh yeah, that would be wild.
That's some. Please steal this idea, guys. Please steal this idea and use it.
Lucasfilm, please take this.
Please. If you want to do any more Ray, please use this. I don't even care if it's like the last thing you show and you don't even like hint at it. You just throw it in at the very end.
Yeah.
It would all be
And
worth it.
like I said, honestly, I didn't mind Palpatine being in it so much. I wish they set it up more throughout the series because I thought that's where they were going with it, to be honest with you, in general.
That's just what everybody expected. So they're like, no, it's not that. No, it's not that. And they're like, all right, fuck. All right. Yeah, that's what it is.
Somehow Palpatine has returned.
We know.
I love that. That's one of my least but most favorite quotes of all time. I would get that on a t-shirt because of how awful that sounds. But I just think it's such a funny line because it's such a like a it's one of the most roll with it lines in probably cinematic history. They're like, "All right, guys, this is what happened. Just go with it. Just roll with it. Doesn't matter what you thought was going to happen or what happened up to this point. This is what's happening and this is where we're going with it." I can't think of any other movie where they say one line that completely just like switches gears so dramatically. Well, other than maybe Luke, I am your father or something like that. But I really can't think of anything else in a negative way that switched gears so dramatically in a movie.
Yeah.
Rise of Skywalker was something. Obi-Wan, I mean, we already kind of talked about that. 22, Solo. So, 23.
What's left?
Well, so let me rattle off. We have Caravan of Courage and all the Ewok movies that they did back in the 80s that are
I
technically
don't
canon.
even know, dude. I'm just gonna trust you on those two.
I'm going to say that those are one step above holiday special. Whatever holiday special is.
Gotcha. So you're
Um
gonna put Last Jedi above those.
I'm going to have to. Poor Last Jedi. It gets so much shit, but it really deserves it,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But let's see. Is that the
My
only
favorite part of
one that
my favorite part of Last Jedi, and this is not a joke, is the ending because of the last scene with the little boy and the brie.
that was cool? I like that. I like that. I'll be honest with you. The thing that I think a lot of people hate is probably one of the only things that I love about that entire movie. Like literally the entire movie. It's one of the only, and I think it's one of the coolest parts of all of Star Wars, to be honest with you. And a lot of people hate this, but I think it was really cool. And I've always wondered this as a kid, what would happen if you took a ship and you hyperdrived into another ship? I always wondered how that would work out and how, what would happen in that scenario. And we got to see that, and I thought that was really cool. I thought that was probably one of the coolest things, like I said, in all of Star Wars. That moment
Fair.
right there. You know what I mean?
It's true.
But then you've got literally some of the worst moments in all of Star Wars also. And I didn't mind that first battle in the beginning of the movie, but like the casino planet kind of sucked. I really didn't like Princess Leia, Mary Poppins at all. I thought that to me is probably one of my least favorite things in the entirety of Star Wars that I've ever seen. Worst Star Wars movie of all time. A couple of good things about it, but that's about it. But yeah, horrendous movie, right?
Yeah, I mean, it had
We
some
can
cool
both
stuff.
agree.
That's it.
Yeah. Like I said, I really like that part with the they call it the Holdo maneuver or whatever. That to me I like that a lot, but virtually everything else in that movie is awful.
You know what I'll say positively about the movie?
What?
It's better. It's better than all of the Sony Spider-Man spin-off movies, except for the first Venom.
I don't know. I don't know.
You think that
That's.
Madam Web? You think that
I think it's
Craven,
better than
Morbius
Madam
are better?
Web. I think it's better than Madam Web. Craven, I thought was okay. I thought Venom
Really?
1 was okay. Did you watch Craven? You thought it was terrible. I thought it
I
was
haven't
all
seen it.
right.
I assumed. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. I thought it was all right. It wasn't great. It wasn't even good. It wasn't the irredeemable pile of slop that Madam Web was.
Yeah. How about Morbius?
I didn't watch Morbius, and I don't think I'll. I don't know if I sometimes I get a passing thought of watching Morbius in my head, and then I shake and I say, "What the fuck was that?" So I don't think I'm gonna watch Morbius. I might put it on one day randomly just to like be like, "All right, finally watch this." But I don't know. I'm gonna say that The Last Jedi is it's not quite as good as the Andrew Garfield movies, but not as bad as pretty much most of those other movies that you named after Venom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of like the Andrew Garfield movies, but that's another story.
Yeah, I was only talking about the spin-offs.
Yeah, yeah. But all right, so that was The Last Jedi, that horrible pile of trash. Now, let's go to something that's not just a horrible pile of trash, but it's the grand finale. It's the two other ones that are considered the mountain of trash, the dump, if you will. And we got Caravan of Courage, which is just an
Young Jedi
awful
Adventures.
Young Jedi Adventures. All right, we'll throw that on there too. That'll be
No,
number
that's actually higher
24.
up.
All right, I don't want to add it then. I really don't.
I'm just kidding. It's like honestly, it's meant for kids, so you have to judge it by that. Meant for
Yeah,
like
I
8 year
know.
old.
So you have to give it its due. But Caravan of Courage is awful, and if I'm not mistaken, it's one of like two or three spin-offs that take place on Andor with Ewoks, and it's actually why the Weekly Planet named their sub podcast Caravan of Garbage, because it's just such a bad movie.
That's
It's
funny.
great. Yeah, yeah. It really just a terrible, terrible movie. But beyond that, at number 25, the worst thing that Star Wars has ever put out, so much so that George Lucas never wanted it to see the light of day after he made it and didn't even really even want to make it, is the Star Wars Holiday Special. It's awful. It's everything that you don't want in a Star Wars thing. It centers on a family of Wookiees. I've watched this a couple times, by the way, because it's
It was the
just such
original
an
Wookiees, right?
yeah. It's exactly. It shows Kashyyyk like outside like of Chewbacca's house with all of his
What
like.
wasn't wasn't that movie gonna be full of Wookiees and not Ewoks?
I think originally, yeah, Return of the Jedi was gonna be Wookiees and not Ewoks. I'm glad they went with Ewoks, though. Honestly,
I don't mind. I think either one would have been fine
I agree.
because Chewbacca looked cool.
I agree, but I think having the Kashyyyk in Revenge of the Sith ended up working out in its favor.
Yeah, it makes it more like tragic that like Chewbacca's just of a lost species.
Yeah, well, an oppressed species, not really a lost species, but an oppressed
I
species.
guess lost as in like he's like lost from his home.
He is, but the reason why is because his species after like they lost that battle in Kashyyyk, what ended up happening is they ended up getting like targeted by the Empire, if I'm not mistaken. And these remember Boss, whatever his name is, the lizard mercenary,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
well, his species, he comes from a
Oh,
species that actually, yeah, exactly, enslaves and hunts the Wookiees and like collects their pelts. So from what I understand, after like Order 66 and all that, the Wookiee homeworld was pillaged by the Empire for their natural resources, and they were kind of sold off to like those that species, basically. I forgot what their names are. But yeah, so holiday special, Star Wars a holiday special. Very fascinating piece of trash. There's one scene where the grandpa Wookiee, it's like Chewbacca's grandpa, he puts on a visor that shows him like a dancing, singing like human woman, and he gets like all excited and shit watching it. There's one part that I think is crazy funny to watch, and I'll show it to you potentially like at some point later on. But there's a scene where they're talking about Han Solo and Chewbacca, and they get lost on their way back to Kashyyyk for Life Day, which is like essentially like the Star Wars Christmas. And when Luke is talking to Chewie's family, and they're asking him like when the last time he's seen Han Solo, it sounds exactly like if Luke was like murdered Han Solo and was trying to cover like for that murder. He basically like stares dead into the camera and goes, "I don't know where they are. That seems awfully suspicious. I really hope we find them soon." And it just looks so creepy and cringy. It's crazy, but it's hilarious. Um There's a lot of weird shit. I think B. Arthur is in that TV show as a cantina bartender, which is the weirdest fucking thing ever. Like, why is B. Arthur in here? She doesn't fit into the fucking aesthetic at all of this whole world. They they show a pawn shop owner who's like in lieu with the rebels, who keeps getting harassed by the Empire, like these weird Empire looking dudes, and he talks like a 1940s or 50s talky guy. He's like, "Well, I don't know why these Empire guys are trying to attack me. It's a real wonder. It's a real wonder there about these guys." He almost has like a slight transatlantic accent about him. It's crazy. It's just it's a whole bunch of weird decisions that George Lucas didn't even want to put this out originally, and he was just doing this for like whatever studio owned it at the time. It was like NBC or something like that wanted to put this out. But it was just crazy. It was just to capitalize on toys and stuff, like literally toys and just like extra shit. One good thing though that did come of the
Boba
Star
Fett.
Wars, exactly. You knew exactly where I was heading with it.
One good thing. Aren't Wookiees good?
I mean, we know, yeah, but Wookiees are a thing because Chewie was a thing in the first movie. I mean, yeah, it's cool that we got to see Kashyyyk and the aesthetic of Kashyyyk, but they didn't really expand on Kashyyyk that much. It was just all centered in like Chewie's house. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't really go in any other part of Kashyyyk other than Chewie's house, and you saw the outside of Chewie's house as like a matte painting. You know what I'm saying? In all fairness, it did look like Kashyyyk, though. It like had that same aesthetic as it would like later on in the movies in like Revenge of the Sith, like the exact same like look with like everything. Like it looked literally like it was just an early concept art for Kashyyyk. It's kind of cool actually. Yeah. So that was one good thing, and the Boba Fett thing was one good thing. Um I really can't think of anything else in that entire thing that was good. And I mean that quite literally. It's one of the worst things that you'll probably ever watch ever. But it's awfully entertaining. It's almost like it's almost like a lesson in corporate meddling that George Lucas learned early on, that after he sold to like Star Wars to Disney, that Disney like didn't like have that experience with, so they didn't learn that. But I think that that about does it. So officially 25 rankings, and yeah, that's pretty fantastic. Star Wars is not just it's not just a franchise, but it's an entity in and of itself. You know what I mean? Little kids will pretend like they're clones or like they're Jedis fighting like droids or the Empire or Darth Vader. They'll pretend they're even Darth Vader.
Adults do that.
But yeah, adults do that. I didn't even think of that. Yeah. There's like classes where people like will like pretend to be Jedis and like use fake will train to like do different techniques in the Jedi ways. I forgot what they were called. I know technique 1, 2, 3, and I think there's a fourth one too. I think technique 3 is like what Count Dooku does, and then technique 2 is Obi-Wan. It's a bunch of like different like descriptions of like the different techniques that like Jedi's and lightsabers. But that's what I'm saying. Like this has become an entity in and of itself and has just permeated every part of pop culture. Everybody knows about like Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. You literally pop out of your mom's womb and you find out about like Star Wars. You know what I mean? It's almost it's one of those things where it's become a mythology in and of itself. And I know that's obvious to say, but you know, you have to almost give it its due because it's done that. It's become something. It's like what we were talking about, like money is Star Wars is like self-sustaining. It's a self-sustaining entity. People love Star Wars because it's Star Wars, but people also make Star Wars what it is. You know what I mean? Like the people that love Star Wars is the reason why it exists and has continued to exist is because people feel so passionate about what George Lucas felt passionate about originally. And I think that's a beautiful thing. It's gone through generations. Like we have kids right now who grew up and love like probably pretend to be Ray or pretend to be Finn or pretend to be whatever Oscar Isaac's character was. Poe Dameron, that's his name. There's probably kids that pretend to just be Oscar Isaac. I mean, I wouldn't blame them. But it's kind of it's an amazing thing. It's completely changed the universe on Earth. It's completely changed the planet. You know what I mean? It's completely changed our society and our way of life. And we're going to develop technology with Star Wars in mind. So it's going to change our technology in the sense that one day we're going to think of these ideas and we're going to be like, oh, you know what? That would look cool if it had kind of an empire kind of look to it. And then these rich guys who love Star Wars that grew up as kids loving Star Wars are going to start making shit look more like Star Wars. And that's going to be our future. And it's going to influence our pop culture so much. It's going to influence our history. It's going to be amazing. Or it is amazing. We're experiencing it in real time, a phenomenon. And we're experiencing the ever evolving and ever changing flow of that phenomenon. And you know what? There's ebbs and flows with it. Sometimes people like it and sometimes they fall out of favor with it, but it's never going to go away because it's that much of a beautiful thing and people enjoy it that much. It's like it's what it is. It's a phenomenon. It's never going to stop until people stop, and I don't think anybody's ever going to stop loving Star Wars. That's like it's like people aren't going to stop loving superheroes because that's a mythology in and of itself. It's all these things. You know? It'll survive as long as there's people to love it.
I hope they adapt Star Wars Legacy, the comic book series. That's it.
Star Wars Legacy.
Bring Kate Skywalker to the big screen. Do it.
I feel like Cade or Kylo Ren was supposed to be like the Cade Skywalker.
Nah, man. No.
Nah,
Nah, dude.
just laughs. Nah,
His whole problem is that he's like being pulled by both sides the whole time. He's like, the fuck, both of you.
so he's like Mace Windu.
Yeah, but even Mace Windu kind of just sides with the Jedi.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I hope they develop a Star Wars Legacy series too. Do you think if they did, do you think it would be about Luke Skywalker's kid?
It's his descendant, so it's like pretty far down the line.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Do you think Luke Skywalker had a kid with with Mara Jade?
I don't know.
Do you think they would ever go into that story? Do you think Disney has the balls to fucking go into that shit?
Luke died, right?
Yeah, Luke's dead.
It would be insane for him to not mention that he has this, like another child, unless that child is also incredibly evil.
Or incredibly powerful, which he is regardless.
Yeah,
Maybe Mara Jade took the kid and Luke wanted to focus on training Ben Solo while Mara Jade trained Cade Skywalker or whatever the kid's name is.
no, I don't want it to be that closely related.
It's Rey's like great grandson.
Yeah, I mean, Rey's not even really related to Luke, but this
Hey,
guy is
bite
genetically
your
related.
tongue, young man. He is a Skywalker through and through. He is the rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,